Now, Korean women's organizations have been very active, especially since the 1970s, when they focused their energy on expanding women's participation in politics. Because traditionally, Korean women were under Confucian norms, very submissive, obedient, they're not supposed to go into politics or public fields. But women's organizations have carried out a lot of activities, and you see the great leaders of women's movements here, Dr. Yeon-suk Lee, who was the minister, and Dr. Jung-soo Kim, who led this women's political movement in Korea. So as a result of that, women's organizations have developed, and grassroots movement will have developed. And now they have responded to this crisis of climate change by, as you heard from Dr. Jung-soo Kim, this movement mainly to maybe support and implement the government policy of low carbon green growth. And this is a very desirable movement because you heard that how 10,000 women are involved. And this is a very important issue. So they're training a lot of grassroots women leaders about climate change, and they can go to local communities for awareness campaign, and they teach women to save energy. When you have a hot thing, then cool it down and then put it in the refrigerator. Don't ride cars too frequently. I myself, I've been lecturing about climate change for such a long time that I just take buses and public transportation now, and because I've been telling people, let's just use public transportation, and it's really good. You feel really good about contributing to climate change by not riding your own car and walking around riding bicycles. It's such a healthy lifestyle. We need a new lifestyle, green and simple. So these women leaders are teaching community women at the grassroots level that they need to reduce carbon dioxide emission by wisely using refrigerator, by their daily habits, like taking shower shortly and using public transportation and all kinds of things. So I think this is a very important issue, I think, for your countries as well. Now, women feel that this issue is important for women, and they can provide leadership. They can make change. Now, women leaders are trained at the grassroots level, and this can contribute to the empowerment of women, women's political empowerment. This can train local community leaders. This can form networks among women, and then women can advance into the central politics, become ministers and prime minister, maybe president, why not? And this climate change issue has provided very important turning point for women's movement in Korea. So here, 43% of all the greenhouse gas emission in Korea is from non-industrial sources. So women play very important role as agents of change. They can change lifestyle, more simple and green. And mothers can practice that and teach their children by showing how we can lead simpler and greener lifestyle than before. So this G-Korea Council of Women has carried out this movement, 3G of getting job, green life, and giving hope. And it has been very important, but I would like to point out that it was really good that women's organizations were very supportive of government policy, and women are practicing this in their daily lives. But of course, it's more important for women's organizations to put pressure on the government for gender responsiveness and women's political representation in the issues of climate change. But unfortunately, Korean women are going through stagnation in women's political participation. We used to have rapid growth in the number of women parliamentarians. We used to have a lot of women in the cabinet, women ministers, including Minister Yeon-suk Lee and Vice Minister Jung-soo Kim. But now we have very few women in the cabinet. You know why? Because the climate change policies of Korean government right now is so market-based, so technology-oriented that women feel alienated from these issues. They feel it's too difficult. And I would think this is very male-dominant climate change policy that's being pursued in Korea right now. So it is very important, as other participants would say, women are affected so much by climate change. They suffer more, and they know more about the effect of climate change. So they should reflect their experience into the national, regional, and international decision making. So I think that Korean women's organizations should put more pressure on the government and the United Nations and international organizations to have more representatives, more women in national delegations, more women in the cabinet, because right now there's no woman who's handling climate change policies in the Korean government right now. We have the Minister of Gender Equality, but that's not majoring in climate change. So the Minister of Environment, I think that should be assigned to women leaders. So it is my concluding remarks on page 14, and this will be the end of my representation. We need to make the policies gender responsive. So number one, on page 15, we should legislate laws. They can make national policies responsive to gender responsive in the field of climate change. So the Climate Change and the Gender Responsiveness Act should be legislated. And the international organizations such as the Commission on the Status of Women should exert more influence on national governments to be more responsive, more gender responsive in their formulation and implementation of climate change policies. And number two is that the government should increase political commitment to make low carbon green growth policies gender responsive in Korea. And we want more money. I think money is crucial in women's movement. So in terms of budget, there's very little budget allocated to women, climate change, and gender responsiveness issues. So number three, we want more budget and more funding so that more women can be reached for a green lifestyle. Now, okay, my time is over. Number four, this is an important issue, so let me just say one sentence. Technology is very important. So more women should advance into the field of green technology, and young girls should be encouraged to get into this field. And when they develop all this new renewable energy, it should be women friendly. We should check whether nuclear energy has no effect on women's reproductive functions, whether all this new technology does not have any bad effect on women, and whether women's needs for household needs, cleaning, washing, cleaning, and all the other needs are properly reflected in the development of new renewable energies. So we need a new development paradigm for the 21st century. Now the 20th century, industrialization, primarily led by fossil fuels by man, ended up destroying the environment and brought about climate change. Women are naturally for protecting and caring for life and nature, to restore the nature and life, and to introduce a new paradigm of development based on new renewable energy. Women are the right actors to contribute to sustainable development. Now, women's nurturing and caring leadership will be an important resource for the success of 21st century low-carbon green politics. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chujuni. I think